Hello, friends. Darice, Moonlife Illuminated. I want to take you through the journey that I went through earlier this morning, like around 1 a.m. or so. I've been waking up around that time every day for the past few days, which is interesting. I suspect that Source has a message for me, or many messages. So I'm going to share with you one of them that came through. This past week, we had Neptune re-enter Aries, Monday, January 2026. Excuse me. And it was so weird. It felt more like a full moon or even an eclipse, which is interesting because this video is actually about the upcoming full moon in Leo. And that officially opens up the coming eclipse season. But there were a lot of revelations for myself and other people. For example, at my current day job, my former supervisor, I learned that day he's returning to our department after working in another department for the past year and a half or so. I have some mixed feelings about that. I mean, there were a lot of things he did well in the past, and some things I wasn't crazy about. And I've changed a lot in the year and a half he's been gone. And one of the things I recognize for myself is that working with him this time around, I'm going to have different boundaries, things that really help me say yes to me. And so I'm committed to that to myself. And so maybe you had a moment like that when Neptune re-enters Aries, or even the few days leading before. So maybe that Friday, Saturday, Sunday leading up to it. Because I've talked to a few people, and that weekend, a lot of stuff just came to the surface for folks. Um, so I was reflecting on that when I woke up this morning around 1 a.m. and couldn't get back to sleep. And I thought, wow, if that happened with Neptune going back into Aries, and we have a full moon, which typically tends to be intense anyway. And this is a full moon in Leo. Oh, I forgot to look up the exact time. Just give me one moment here. It's going to be exact, I believe, here at 5:09 p.m. Eastern on February 1st, the full moon. So yeah, full moons in Leo, they tend to be intense anyway, just because Leo tends to be intense, like all of the fire signs. And I confess, I just got back from vacation, so I haven't looked at the exact aspects for this full moon. So I'll let you know that up front right now. So I'm going solely off of my intuition and what I'm feeling around this full moon. Um, that also just because it is leading to the eclipse, which is going to be happening February 17th um, in Aquarius. So we're at this interesting space because this is one of those years where we're closing out an eclipse series and opening up a new one. We're finishing up the Pisces Virgo eclipse series. The final ones will be happening this year. And we're going to have the first of the Leo Aquarius eclipses this year. And then that'll complete next year. Or go to about 2028. And so my experience of that turnover with Eclipse series is that transitions are heightened. They can be more intense. And just because of the other astrology that's coming up for 2026, I've been listening to a lot of astrologers talking about 2026 and some interesting, somewhat challenging Pluto transits, but there's also a lot of supportive aspects to Pluto this year. I don't want to get into all of that right now. Um, my thing is, I just want to come in real quick and just share with you my intuitive hits, frankly, that I'm receiving around this upcoming full moon. Is that it may be really intense, or it may be preparing us for what could be a potentially really intense eclipse in February and in March, the first eclipse series that we have this year. And then we'll be having the second half of that in July. And I thought, wow, well, if it's already starting to feel pretty intense, pretty gnarly, both individually and collectively, I was asking myself, are we in for a really rocky eclipse season this February? Also, because that eclipse is just a few days before we have the Saturn Neptune 0 point conjunction, which astrologers have been talking about now for the last couple of years about how that's going to be pretty seismic just because it's Aries, the first sign of the zodiac at the 0 point, the a total new beginning. So there are two ways to look at this. We may be having things come to the surface that we're being shown that we have to release, that we have to be willing to let go. I feel like this last few weeks, really, or really days of Saturn and Pisces before Saturn goes back into Aries, is about cleaning up what we were learning, completing in Saturn and Pisces. We're completing what we were learning from Neptune and Pisces as well. And this is, a 1 year universally. It's a new 9 year cycle. So maybe this is preparation for how we need to let go of what no longer serves us. Um, I've been listening to a lot of the 2026 astrology, and unfortunately, a lot of astrologers tend to be pretty pessimistic, a lot of doom and gloom. I'm not really crazy about that. I prefer to go the exact opposite route. I prefer to be more optimistic. And I don't really believe that the universe is testing us. I always feel like the universe is training us. And so maybe we're being trained for how to usher in a whole new way of living, being, doing, and thinking. I feel like a lot of the astrology, the energy that we're going to experience in 2026, what if it's not necessarily about the apocalypse and AI making us all like subhuman, like, or having this whole new species of like half human, half robots. A lot of people are predicting that apocalyptic doom and gloom, science fiction version of reality. And I don't think that is necessarily the case. I don't think we have to assume that that's what's going to happen. Um, because, first of all, I think we need to remember that none of this has been decided, that we still have free will, and that as a collective, we still have a lot of power, a lot of say in what happens. I don't think we need to give up our power completely to these tech companies. I think people too often assume that there's nothing they can do, and part of that is how the powers that be set things up. They want people to be wired to think that they don't have a choice, that they don't have influence. And we do. We have a lot of influence with, how we spend or don't spend our money. And, we can still, for better or worse, lobby the politicians and, put a lot of pressure on business owners in lots of different ways. So I think that's important to remember as well. But I also think, just individually, we need to decide that we're going to commit to being human and that we're going to commit to supporting humanity, saving humanity. And maybe a lot of the intense astrology of 2026 and maybe even of 2027 is really the universe reminding us of our own power, our own individual and collective power. That what if we are actually being wired to create what I am referring to as a field of solution? I really believe that if we tap into our own innate power, um, we have a lot of energy and information coming online for people as the new human species, the 5D human, as many people are talking about. I believe our DNA is being activated in a whole new way. And what if that is to bring to the surface solutions around all of these really difficult and challenging issues of our times and the day and what we're about to go through over the next couple of years? Like, what if the astrology is actually activating dormant wisdom that's been passed down from generations, from our ancestors? What if there is a whole new level of intelligence and wisdom coming online? And so I'm choosing to receive that wisdom. I am consciously communicating with my spirit guides and the divine and saying, I'm willing to receive that wisdom, that guidance. I am open to receiving new ideas, new solutions. And I'm going to invite other people to continue to do the same because I feel like as we go through these challenges, over the next couple of years, um, we can create a field of solution by tapping into that energy, by first of all believing that is possible. If we really want to believe that we are co-creators with the divine, with source, God, whatever you want to call it, why not create solution? Why not create a world or a universe where humanity not only survives but thrives? I am choosing to lean into radical optimism. And I will continue to bring this message to the channel and whatever the platforms I expand on, as time goes by here. That's what I'm committed to. I want to remind us that we do have the possibilities of being a co-creator with the divine. And I feel like this full moon is going to be reminding us of that. It may be bringing to the surface the blocks or the challenges that we need to release. We may come face to face with some limitations that need to be um, just discarded, shed, because we're still finishing off that energy of the snake from last year. I feel like the new year energetically really starts, honestly, at that Saturn Neptune 0 point conjunction in Aries on February 20th. Energetically, that's what it feels like to me. So, this is the time to begin clearing out what no longer serves us. And I feel like this full moon is going to reveal that to us because it is leading to the eclipse. It's that 2 week opener before the eclipse series officially begins. So you'll probably begin to notice what you'll be working with during the eclipse series. So personally for me, part of that is probably going to be creating a new dynamic with my former supervisor and whatever new projects we're going to be working on together. I know that's going to be part of my eclipse story for this year. So maybe you already have insight into what you're going to be working with during this upcoming eclipse series, or it'll be revealed to you over the next couple of weeks. So just be aware, just see what pops up in your energy, in your field, in your life, in your business. Um, but at the end of the day, um, I like to believe that we're being supported. Um, and I want to continue to remind you that the divine is on your side, and I'm on your side. And I'm here to support folks. I do have offerings. I have my Skool community. I do have a PDF on helping you do your content creation planning in 30 minutes, how to work with the cycles of the moon to do that as well. There'll be links down below. I am available for doing what I refer to as my astro counseling sessions. So that's a 90-minute version. You illuminate it, or if you want to just kind of try it out, I have a smaller 30-minute version for just $30 called Witnessing You. And I can help you see where you have your strengths, your gifts, your skills, and where you're being supported astrologically as well. So with that, please do like the video if you receive value from it. Please subscribe to the channel if you receive value from it. Again, I'm so grateful for all of you. Welcome if you're new, welcome if you're returning. I do appreciate everyone who continues, especially if you made it to the end of the video. Sending you so much love, so much joy. Easefully yours, Darice.